Hello guys, this is Don's Movies, and today I will be bringing you the lore of the Burning Legion. So far, I've mentioned them a million times, I've made videos on certain Legion races, and also covered the character stories around it. In this video, I kinda want to group all of that together and give you an understanding of this great army. So, without further ado, let's get into the lore. Long ago, the Titans were on the quest of creating order in the universe. One of them, called Sargeras, known as the Defender, was elected to hunt down the armies of evil. He was perfect for the task and was known as the noblest of them all. Sargeras was powerful, just, and unable to comprehend evil. For countless millennia, he fought these demonic armies and captured them on the world of Mardoon in order to cleanse the universe. All was going well until he was forced to contend with several troublesome races such as the Sayed, the Moarg, and the most notable Netrezim. He was able to conquer them easily with his limitless powers, but when he saw the evil they were committing, his mind and perspective were changed forever. The other Titans tried to calm him down, but he quickly fell into a depression. He thought that the Titans are misguided and that their entire task is futile. The universe itself has a defect and it needs to be destroyed in order for it to actually work, otherwise problems would constantly arise. Not long after, he departed and he had shattered the world of Mardoon, essentially creating the Burning Legion. From the corruption, his satanic form became distorted, his eyes, hair and beard erupted in fire, and his metallic bronze skin split open to reveal an endless furnace of fiery rage. Sargeras now had only one task: to undo all the Titan work and destroy the universe. The Burning Legion had now been formed, but it required generals, specifically intelligent ones. On the planet of Argus, Sargeras managed to corrupt most of the Eredar race, turning them into demonic Man'ari. He also got two champions that would help him lead this vast army, Kil'jaeden the Deceiver and Archimonde the Defiler. Soon enough, Kil'jaeden had recruited the Annihilan race, also known as the Pit Lords, who were both physically and magically powerful. The most influential of them, called Azeroth, served as a lieutenant to the Burning Legion and as the leader to the Pit Lords. The next important race to the Legion were the Netrezim, also known as the Dreadlords. There are some contradictions here, as it is said that they were one of the first Burning Legion races, as they played a part in Sargeras' corruption, while other sources say that Kil'jaeden recruited them later on. Nevertheless, they're a crucial part of the Burning Legion due to their intelligence and manipulation skills. When it comes to the other races of the Burning Legion, the lesser ones, many of them were recruited or just created on the fly. Each time the Legion consumed the world, they either enslaved its inhabitants or just manipulated them. In most cases, they were infused with fell magic and then warped into demonic beings, just like the Eredar were turned into the Man'ari. With their numbers constantly on the rise, they consumed world after world, leaving no signs of life in their path. The time period and the number of planets affected is unknown, but we do know that 10,000 years ago, Burning Legion first made contact with the world of Azeroth. The reckless use of magic sent ripples of energy spiraling out from the Well of Eternity into the great dark beyond. Sargeras sensed this signal and was consumed by hunger, as he knew that this power was of titanic origin. Soon enough, he gathered the army, and with the help of Archimonde, Azeroth, and Azshara the Inside Agent, the first invasion of Azeroth began. Demons started pouring out of the portals, storming the continent of Kalimdor, leaving only ash behind them. Infernals crashed from the skies, while packs of demonic fellhounds ravaged the lands. The Night Elves banded together, and even though they fought valiantly, they were just no match for the might of the Burning Legion. The burden now fell onto Malfurion, as he needed to find help for his people. Cenarius, the dragon aspects, the ancients, the spirits of nature, and the powers of Elune were all united, but even then, Malfurion realized that the Legion just could not be defeated. He was convinced that the Well of Eternity was the link and insisted that it needs to be destroyed. His followers were horrified by this notion, as this was their source of immortality and powers, yet with the help of Tyrande, Cenarius was convinced, and soon enough they stormed the Shada's temple in an attempt to shut down the Well of Eternity for good. As the forces arrived, the Highborn were already in the middle of their ritual, and Sargeras was closer and closer to the world of Azeroth. The ensuing battle between Malfurion and Ashara threw the Highborn spellwork into chaos, and the unstable vortex within the Well of Eternity exploded. This led to a massive explosion that rattled the bones of the world itself. Nearly 80% of Kalimdor was blasted apart, creating separate continents. The Maelstrom was created in the middle where the Well of Eternity once stood that would never stop spinning from the chaotic energies. Meanwhile, Sargeras, refusing to believe his defeat, stepped into the portal as it was collapsing, and thus his physical body was shattered and he was cast into the Twisting Nether. The Burning Legion was repelled at the time, but the cost was more than great for the world of Azeroth. 9,000 years later, Sargeras, still in the Twisting Nether, was attracted to Agewind, the Guardian of Tirisfal, who was keen on destroying all of the demons she could find. Seeing her as a threat and as a manipulation opportunity, he sent his own avatar to battle Agewind. She did manage to defeat him, but since that was a part of his plan all along, Sargeras' spirit entered her body, lying in wait for centuries. This spirit would later on pass into her son Medivh, who would play a crucial part in the next invasion. On the opposite part of the universe, Kil'jaeden was still angry at Velen and the Draenei and was constantly on the hunt. About 35 years back, he finally managed to track him down on the world of Draenor. Because he was aware that the Draenei ran at the first sign of the Legion, he went for a smarter approach. Kil'jaeden corrupted the orcs who were one of their peaceful neighbors, and through manipulation they drank the blood of Manroth. Their first mission was to destroy the Draenei, and they were successful as they managed to almost annihilate the entire race. However, Welen and some of his people did manage to escape and hide. With that finished, their eyes turned to the world of Azeroth once again. Gul'dan, the puppet master of the orcs, was contacted by Medivh, possessed by the spirit of Sargeras. Gul'dan organized the invasion of Azeroth, while Medivh opened a rift in the Black Morass and allowed the orcs access to the planet. This caused the first two wars, which had horrific consequences on the human kingdoms. However, they did manage to unite, defeat the orcs, and repel the invasion. Medivh was also killed by Anduin Lothar as they realized he was corrupted. Sargeras' plans were shattered and his spirit banished, but he still remained in the Twisting Nether. After this failed campaign, the Burning Legion was not satisfied, and Kil'jaeden was determined to create a new force that would succeed where the orcs had failed. He captured the Orc Ner'zhul and by torture turned him into the Lich King. His mission was to soften the defenses and prepare Azeroth for a new Burning Legion invasion. Soon enough, the Scourge was created. It was immensely more successful, as through the Plague of Undeath, they destroyed most of the human kingdoms and turned their people into undead who would serve their purpose. Not long after, the Elven Kingdom was also destroyed and most of the world was in disarray. The Legion saw this as a perfect opportunity, and Archimonde himself was summoned into the world to lead the assault. His goal this time was to absorb the World Tree, which possessed colossal amount of energy. At the final hour, the human survivors, orcs, and the Night Elves all united and desperately fought to buy the time for Malfurion, who was performing a druidic ritual upon the World Tree. After the spell was finished, Archimonde was led into a trap, and as soon as he had embraced the tree, it released all of the energy, destroying both itself and the demon. The Burning Legion had been defeated, but once again at a great cost. Even though shattered, this vast demonic army just did not want to admit defeat. With the fall of Archimonde, Kil'jaeden had assumed complete control of the Legion. He had organized a few failed plans in order to destroy the defecting Scourge, and also constantly had agents on the world such as the Natrazim and the Satyr who were still persistent in their efforts. During the Burning Crusade, with the help of an artifact, the Legion managed to reopen the Dark Portal from Outland, the broken world of Draenor, and had sent troops to invade Azeroth in the third invasion. However, the forces of Azeroth were quickly dispatched, and soon enough they pressed on and drove the demons back to Outland. The Alliance and the Horde managed to win the first battle and establish a perimeter in the Hellfire Peninsula. Most of the other Burning Legion plans and bases were destroyed not long after. However, Kill Jaden was not yet finished. He manipulated Kill the Sunstrider and empowered him and many of his followers with fell energy. Kiltas, under his wing, attacked Silvermoon and captured the Naru he once gave to his people as a gift, hoping to supply himself with power and summon Kill Jaden into the world. However, plans failed once again and Kill Jaden was defeated and sent back. The Legion has been silent since then, but definitely not destroyed, as they made their appearance in Worlds of Draenor. Archimonde was shown to be alive and immune to time travel, and even though the events didn't really matter in the end for Worlds of Draenor, it did lead into the beginning of the upcoming expansion. The Burning Legion is returning again in the 4th invasion, speculated to be the biggest one yet. Their goal is now bigger than ever as well, and that is to finally summon Sargeras into the world of Azeroth. The Broken Isles is going to be the source of this invasion, and we are definitely bound to get more Burning Legion lore. Alright, that is all I have for this video. Now, do suggest future videos you'd like to see on the channel, and also don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel already, as it really helps out and keeps all the videos going. And thanks a lot for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and see you next time.